Social organizations, unions and sectors of the official Argentine government have taken to the streets in Buenos Aires to protest against the Supreme Court. The protesters demanded modifications in the judiciary and removal of tainted figures from the country's top court. Chanting slogans such as "the judicial dictatorship is going to end," they also demanded the resignation of all the 4 judges of the court, the democratization of justice, as well as the end of lawfare and impunity. Anti-coup protesters across Myanmar have defied a junta order not to mark the first anniversary of the military's power grab with a silent strike and clapping protests. The military takeover that ended the Southeast Asian country's brief democratic interlude and toppled civilian leader Aung San Suu Kyi has triggered mass protests and a crackdown on dissent. Struggling to contain the backlash and contending with daily clashes, the junta has killed more than 1,500 civilians. According to a local monitoring group, swathes of the country are under the control of anti-coup fighters ever since. Canadian authorities moved to end a protest convoy of trucks and other vehicles that had been blocking a major U.S. border crossing. The protest was taking place at one of the busiest ports of entry on the Canada-United States border, and it was part of a larger Canadian protest against vaccine mandates and other COVID-19 restrictions. Meanwhile, the organizers have raised millions for the cross-country Freedom Truck convoy against vaccine mandates. However, in the aftermath of Canada's biggest pandemic protest to date, the demonstrators have found little sympathy in a country where more than 80% are vaccinated. Peru's Prime Minister Héctor Valer has said that he supports amending the country's market-friendly constitution, a campaign promise from President Pedro Castillo, but that the process would take about 4 years. Valer was elected as a conservative lawmaker in July before switching sides to a bloc that promotes constitutional change earlier this year. He said the process would take 4 years at least in order to convene political forces from all sides. Castillo is set to leave office in 2026. His new cabinet still needs to be confirmed by Congress. At least a dozen historically black colleges and universities in the United States have received bomb threats and put their campuses on lockdown, a day after a rush of similar threats forced the cancellation of classes at other schools. The threats against the schools in cities from Baltimore to New Orleans came on the first day of Black History Month in the United States. The threats come as the United States continues to reckon with racial injustice following recent years' high-profile killings of black Americans and a pitched battle over teaching in public schools of critical race theory. After the collapse of a subway construction site in Sao Paulo, traffic along the affected Marginal Tietê Expressway remained sluggish. A lane of the major expressway, which crosses the city from east to west, caved into a widening pit alongside the construction site of the tunnel under Tietê River. The collapse left no casualties. Aerial footage showed long queues of vehicles jammed into the lanes that remained open on the side of the accident. The Sao Paulo State Metro operator said on its website that tunnels dug for the new subway project had been flooded. About 6,500 people have been told to evacuate their homes in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, due to a fire at a fertilizer plant where 600 tons of potentially explosive ammonium nitrate was stored. The blaze at the Weaver fertilizer plant started on Monday evening, and officials asked residents within 1 mile of the plant were urged to evacuate and stay away from their homes for up to 48 hours. Winston Salem, fire chief, has said during a news conference that 500 tons of ammonium nitrate and 5,000 tons of finished fertilizer were at the site when the fire began. Another 100 tons of ammonium nitrate were in a rail car adjacent to the site. The Spanish Coast Guard has rescued 37 North African migrants after their dinghy was spotted in the Atlantic Ocean, 24 kilometers from the island of Gran Canaria. According to authorities, 36 migrants were transported to the port of Aguiguin, and one was evacuated by a helicopter. Interior Ministry figures to mid-January show that so far this year, 790 migrants have made the perilous journey from the coast of Africa to the Canaries archipelago. Over 22,000 migrants had arrived in the Canaries in 2021. Just a month after it witnessed a record surge in infections, France has begun lifting coronavirus restrictions, including mandatory outdoor mask wearing, in a bid to ease citizens' daily lives. Audience capacity limits for concert halls, sporting matches and other events have also been removed. And although work from home will no longer be mandated, it is still recommended. The move begins a two-part relaxation of curbs announced at the end of January. However, the weekly surge in infections still peaks over 300,000 in the country. According to the World Health Organization, the emerging BA2 form of the OMICRON coronavirus variant does not seem to be any more severe than the original BA1 form. However, it has also cautioned countries eager to lift coronavirus precautions, saying Omicron hasn't yet peaked in many countries. The comments came as the BA2 version of Omicron begins to replace the more common original BA1 version in countries such as Denmark. These two main lineages of Omicron differ from each other by more than 40 points mutations. BA2 was first identified in South Africa in early December last year. In a bid to quell vaccination misinformation and hesitancy, health workers in Nigeria have begun vaccinating residents of the rural Fulani community outside the capital of Abuja. Medics have been up against 4 theories about the COVID-19 vaccine, including that it's a tool to thin out the Fulani population and that it causes impotency. Sorry for that. Now, mobile teams sent by the authorities to various local communities are helping to overcome the myths and boost vaccine uptake. Officials have set an ambitious goal of vaccinating more than a quarter of the population by the end of February. The Mexican government has said that the country is showing a decrease in the number of COVID-19 cases after recording a significant increase at the start of the year due to the Omicron variant. At the beginning of the year, Mexico registered a significant increase in the number of COVID-19 infections, mainly driven by the Omicron variant. On January 19th, the country registered a record of 60,000 infections, although the number of deaths remained contained compared to other waves of the disease, mainly due to the effect of the vaccine. So far, Mexico registers 4.9 million total infections and over 300,000 deaths. Now, according to the UN Weather Agency, a single lightning bolt that leaped across 3 US states has been identified as the longest ever, dubbed a mega flash. The rare low-rate horizontal discharge covered 768 kilometers between clouds in Texas and Mississippi in April 2020. It was detected by scientists using satellite technology, and its distance beating the previous record by 60 kilometers, which has been confirmed by a World Meteorological Organization committee. The WMO has said that another mega flash, which occurred above Uruguay and Argentina in June 2020, also set a new record as the longest lasting at 17.1 seconds. Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro has promised aid to areas of Sao Paulo state grappling with fierce rain, floods and landslides that have killed 24 people. The president met with Sao Paulo's mayors from hard-hit areas such as Franco da Rocha and Francisco Morato, lamenting that residents had built homes in precarious areas of the state. In a letter to the federal government, Sao Paulo's governor asked for 470 million reais, which is $89 million to deal with the aftermath of the heavy rains. Heavy rains in Sao Paulo have set off floods, landslides that have claimed the lives of at least 24 people, leaving hundreds of families homeless. Monitored by Ecuadorian Environment Ministry officials, cleaning brigades continue working on the area in the Amazon hit by an oil spill. The oil shot out as soon as the rock hit an oil pipe in eastern Ecuador during a landslide and has triggered a major pollution event since then, contaminating the protected area of the national park. New Yorkers in Chinatown ushered in the Year of the Tiger with a celebratory lion dance and the snap, crackle and pop of firecrackers. In Chinese tradition, firecrackers are believed to scare off evil spirits from the year to come and bring good fortune. The annual celebration marks 2 years since the downtown neighborhood started feeling the effects of COVID-19 pandemic. Those present at the celebration say they hoped the Year of the Tiger will bring in a big change from the year before. Malaysians welcomed the Lunar New Year of the Tiger with the roaring return of an underwater lion dance performance as well as a visit to the temples. An aquarium located near Kuala Lumpur's iconic Petronas Twin Towers saw divers decked in vivid red and yellow lion costumes dancing and performing amid marine creatures which had been called off the previous year due to COVID-19 restrictions. Lion dances are traditionally performed in China and among ethnic Chinese communities all over the world to mark the Lunar New Year. A calligraphy robot brought Lunar New Year cheers on the eve of the festival to the media and started participating in Winter Olympics. The robot, armed with 2 brushes, wrote the Chinese character Fu, which means prosperous, on red papers, which is considered auspicious. People in Xi'an paste the red papers at the front door as a means to ward off evil spirits. Performers marked the Lunar New Year by dancing with a dragon and playing drums at a man-made island called Blue Waters in Dubai. People ushered in the Year of the Tiger, celebrating the Lunar New Year with colorful decorations, wild dances, tributes to their ancestors and prayers for good fortune in the year to come. It is the 3rd Lunar New Year since the start of the COVID-19 outbreak, and celebrations were more subdued than usual, with people taking strict health and safety precautions. After heavy snowfall overnight in Pyongyang, people in North Korea marked the first day of the Lunar New Year. For North Koreans in the capital, the day starts with a ritual show of respect at monuments to their past leaders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. People also celebrated in family gatherings, eating traditional food and playing traditional games with children. A Swedish enterprise is testing a reward-based system in which wild birds help humans pick up trash. Video from Corvid cleaning have showed crows picking up trading sticks and dropping them into a bin. Peanuts are then dispensed as a reward. According to their website, Corvid Cleaning is preparing a pilot project that would see the birds pick up real litter instead of litter set out specifically for them.